For 2 weeks, Lioness has asked one question: who gave Joe up to the Russians? This week the show drags the prime suspect into a CIA black site, and by the end of the hour, Joe's team believes her. That's the problem, because the plan Joe builds off Alexandra's intel, the leak, the barn fire, the hornets, is the exact news report the Russians are now playing on a loop above Joe's head while she's strapped to a bed. This is Lioness Season 3, Episode 3, The Bear is Infected. Full recap and ending explained, full spoilers ahead. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Media Breakdown, and every episode of Season 3 gets the full treatment every Sunday through the finale on September 20th. Quick map, almost this entire episode lives in the past timeline, 6 months before the kidnapping. There's no gunfight this week. It's an hour of interrogations, briefings, and one plan that explains everything. The present timeline only returns for the final scene, and it lands like a punch. We pick up where ending pointed. Kyle and Cruz have Alexandra, the Georgetown walk-in, a Ukrainian double agent embedded in the Russian SVR since 2018 at a CIA black site in Baltimore. The question is simple: did she rat Joe out? Kyle knows she's trained to withstand torture, so he doesn't torture her. He sends Cody, Jay, and Grady to locate her mother, Olga Balakin, and her sister in Kiev, and puts the threat on the table. It's the ugliest thing the good guys have done this season, and the episode knows it. And Alexandra doesn't break. She erupts. Her father died fighting Russia. Her brothers are still fighting. She handed over Yurimov to weaken Russia from within. Why would she burn the case officer running the mission she wanted to succeed? Her counter theory: the Russians got Joe's face from a drone, a satellite, or marked the team at the airport. The same edge as Kaitlyn and Byron flagged last week. Her logic is the episode's spine. If Moscow knew, they'd have hit Joe in Ukraine. They didn't, so they don't. They still don't even know the Americans have Yurimov. Kyle buys it. Cruz buys it. Kyle calls off Cody and Grady, and Byron orders the team to keep Alexandra moving, trackers still on, because if the SVR realizes she's been lifted, she's worthless. At the Camp Safe House, Kate calls a family meeting and asks her mother, point blank, to quit. Her logic is a teenager's logic. No job, no target. Joe's answer is the episode's second great monologue. Evil doesn't stop being evil because you surrender to it. Quitting doesn't take the target off her back. It just means the mission ends unfinished. She fights to protect a way of life. She's lost comrades to it, and she won't run. It's not what her grandfather would have expected. Neil hates the answer. Neil also knows she's right. Joe slips a gun into his bag on her way out and orders the security detail to drive the girls to school, stay on site, and bring them back personally, which sets up the episode's non-action action scene. Randy and two cups are driving the girls when they hit an unreported accident. A big rig splayed across the highway. That's how we do it. They break off and run. No shots fired, maybe nothing there at all. And that's the point. This is what Joe's family's life is now. Every traffic jam is a possible kill box. First, the table setter. Kaitlyn and Errol at home. Errol lays out how America's adversaries actually fight. China plays the long game. Investment, information theft, cash leverage, 50 years of money so deep into the US economy that Washington won't even investigate a lab it funded in Wuhan. Russia plays the short game, flipping FBI counterintelligence agents, military officials, State Department staff, congressmen. Then Alexandra, Joe calls her Alexa now, delivers the briefing that gives the episode its title. In geopolitics, Russia is the wolf pack, China is the tiger, America is the bear. The wolf pack can't kill the bear, the tiger can't kill the bear, and the wolf and the tiger can't hunt together. So you don't fight the bear, you infect it. Disinformation, disruption, honeypots, blackmail on school boards and low-level federal employees. The disease does the killing. And here's the mirror the show has been building all season. Then, Alexandra opens her asset list, and the episode goes cold. The low-level names go to the FBI, but the top of the list, 5 sitting US senators. 2 had campaigns funded by Russian money. 1 took heavy investment into their district. 1 has a spouse running an investment firm tied directly to a Russian fund. And 1 got the old-fashioned treatment, a honeypot, a camera, and a leash. Joe's problem? Alexandra is still under. Byron's call. Bleed her dry as a double agent. So none of this can go public without detonating a scandal that makes the country doubt its own government. Joe doesn't trust her either, so she builds a trap that threads both needles. Step 1. Leak to the press that the FBI has apprehended a Russian SVR agent on US soil. Not Yurimov, not Alexandra, but the honeypot girl from the senator's photos. No name, no face, just the idea. Every compromised asset and every SVR handler in the country starts covering their tracks at once. Whack-a-mole. Except the CIA is watching every hole. Step 2. Turn Alexandra loose and watch her. When the arrest hits the news, everyone on her list and every handler she knows will reach for her. Caitlin calls it hunting mice by setting the barn on fire. Alexandra is the barn. Byron, the coldest man in the room, actually flags how callous it is. Jo doesn't blink. She's certain Alexandra knows more about the doorstep attack than she's saying, and this is the loyalty test. Smash cut to the present. Jo, head, hands, and legs strapped to a bed in what looks like an abandoned mental hospital. Above her face, a drinking bird toy dripping water onto her forehead at intervals. Sleep deprivation, old school. Men watching from the shadows. And on a television mounted above her, a news report from 6 months ago. The White House press secretary announcing that FBI counterintelligence has apprehended a Russian SVR agent, with espionage charges coming for the agent and everyone the agent manipulated. Jo's own leak, her own plan, played back at her on a loop. That's the episode's last image, and it's the whole season in one shot. So, the title. The bear is America. And infected is the diagnosis. Not invaded, not attacked, infected. Through money, through honeypots, through 5 United States senators on a Russian leash. The scariest thing this episode says is that the enemy doesn't need to fire a shot. And fittingly, this is the one episode of Lioness with no gunfire at all. Now the ending. Why are the Russians making Jo watch that broadcast? Because it's a confession they're forcing her to sit with. We know it was you. The barn fire worked, the hornets came out, but hornets trace smoke back to the arsonist. Somewhere between the leak, the arrest, and Alexandra going back under, Moscow connected the operation to the case officer running it. Jo's plan is very likely the thing that got her taken. Episode 1 asked how the war reached her door. Episode 2 showed the cleanup making it worse. Episode 3 completes it. Jo lit the fire herself and clocked the mirror because Sheridan built this episode as one long rhyme. Kyle breaks Alexandra by threatening what she loves and denying her rest. 6 months later, the Russians run the same play on Jo. Strap her down, deny her sleep, and show her the things she did. Caitlin said it. Everyone breaks eventually. The question the season is now asking, does Jo? Last thing. Who is the lioness this season? Look at Alexandra, recruited under duress, run as a double, thrown to the wolves as bait, deniable the moment she's inconvenient. That's not an informant. That's a lioness in everything but name. And the show never says the word out loud. Flag it as theory, but that's the read. And if she figures out what Jo did to her before Jo's team figures out who took Jo, next week's episode is literally called Murder Hornets. Draw your own conclusions. So, did Jo's own trap get her kidnapped? And is Alexandra the season's real lioness, or is she still playing every side of the board? Drop your theory below. I read everything. And all 16 season 1 and 2 videos are on the channel. Playlist on screen and in the description. And episode 4, Murder Hornets, gets the full breakdown next Sunday. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Like the video so the algorithm hands it to the next person Googling why there's a drinking bird dripping water on Zoe Saldana's face. And I'll see you at Langley.